All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to the September critique for Greater-Rochester-Camera-Club. Tonight, our topic was food photography. As Lisa had stated earlier, this one she found very challenging. We left it pretty open in regards to however you wanted to interpret the challenge for the month. And I'm looking through, we have 10 photos for tonight. And there is a very wide variety of how someone interpreted it. So glad to see everybody who's came in. I'm sure we'll have a couple others come over in just a few minutes. But I wanted to just kind of go over last month's meeting. We had Jerry LaFleur come, and that was a fantastic show. Gave us some good insight for transportation for our winter show that's coming up. That is arriving quickly. December is when we're going to be on display over at the Rochester Performance Arts Center. And currently, right now, we are still trying to figure out the correct date to have drop off. So I got to talk to Jenry over there and make sure we can figure out a good day for us to drop off. So I hope everyone's starting to work on that, getting everything framed up. And as just a reminder, for the show, it is an 18 by 24 is the largest. It doesn't have to be in that aspect ratio, but overall dimensions, 18 by 24 is the maximum we'd like to have. So that way we can get as many pictures on the wall. Other announcements we have coming up, and if you are over here, and Lisa is working on some other speakers. Lisa, do you want to talk about what we had coming up? So those who weren't here before.
So Monique and I are still working on November, Monique?
Yes.
Okay. Still working out the bugs on that, but we have in January, we have Emily, and I have no idea how to pronounce
Wojciechowski.
Thank you. From Hunt's Photo is going to be coming in and doing a presentation on macro photography. We haven't really sorted out the details. She may do food. She may just do fine details. She'll bring in props. We just really haven't worked out 100% of the details yet, but she'll bring in lighting and staging and all of that and show us how it works. And Monique, shall we talk about November or wait until we have more details?
So October, we have a plan for October.
Oh, October.
So October, we're going to do a roundtable discussion.
Oh, it's October.
Thank you.
Yep. And we are going to leave it open to bring any questions you have. If you have a question of somebody specific in the group, we want it to be a really social event. We want the more people to come, the better. Our goal is going to be to fill the room. And we have the same members that show up to all of our meetings, and we want to find out why other people aren't coming. And we want to get them here to see how great this group is in real life, because we're amazing.
Right. And then we had Monique and I had talked about it a little bit on Saturday. I was actually out in the woods photographing some absolutely awesome birch trees. And we started talking about it, and there are a lot of new members in the club and a lot of new faces that nobody really knows anything about. I mean, the core group, which we see all the time, we all know about each other and what everybody does and what they shoot and so forth and so on. There's all the new members that we really don't have a lot of knowledge of. And we would like, I mean, I would love to see every single member of the club show up for this meeting. Whether or not that happens, probably not. But it would be nice to have everybody show up and we can all find out a little bit about each other. Because there are so many new people that we just don't know anything about. So that was
hopefully we get new people who attend in October that we met at the fair.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I'm hoping so too.
My night at the fair was a dud.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
there were times when Matt and I were literally the only people in the room.
Really?
Oh God.
Like just sitting there talking to each other because there was no one else to talk to.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. Still good to be there and yeah, it's good.
And to talk about the fair, I just wanted to really say thank you to everyone who went in there and volunteered, spent some time representing the Greater-Rochester-Camera-Club. I really want to thank Sarah because she did a fantastic job. She brought the box for me, got the banner hung up, and then she spent many of the nights. Did you spend every night there or most nights there?
Except for Friday, the dud day.
Yeah, you missed the dud day. Wicked bummer, huh?
But really, Sarah, thank you so much for helping out, representing the camera club, spending a good amount of time there, introducing yourself, introducing the club on our behalf. And I really want to really appreciate all your support for that. And I want to also thank everybody else who participated in helping out and representing over at the show, or the Rochester Fair, or Greater Grant State Fair, whatever they want to call it these days. I think it's always gonna be the Rochester Fair in my eyes, but thank
Yeah.
you again.
Yeah. It was great. I got to talk to Reed, and I hadn't got a chance to talk to him before. So it was nice that I really enjoyed getting to know him and some others that had showed up. Will had showed up the other day as well. So, and Danielle.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Lisa, do we have anything else about the upcoming events, or?
No,
Okay.
as we'll send out more details on October.
All right. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share with the group? And if not, I can start and we can get right into the photos. All right, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Or they changed the button arrangement down here. We're going to share my screen and we'll go from there. Hit share. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so we're gonna start off tonight. The first photo we have is by Reed Cooper.
Hello.
Reed, do you have anything you'd like to talk about this photo to start?
Yeah, this is one of those, like I said, I just took with my cell phone when I was on vacation. We were in a place called the English Market in Cork City, Ireland. And they just had the bread and they had meat and they had everything in the different little specialty sections. Not like our not like our grocery stores, but every specialty had its own little section. And the bread section was kind of attractive. I took some pictures of that as well as some of the others, but the meat looked a little bit maybe too bloody for to show. So I decided just to do the bread. So that's like an iPhone shot that I reworked in Lightroom to kind of take out to blur the background a little bit, and that's what I've got. Like I said, I don't know much about food photography. I was hoping to learn tonight. Got to pick up some tips.
I like this. I like the documentariness of this. Like it's, obviously in a shop, not stage. I mean, they staged it to sell the bread, but you didn't stage. It's not staged, studio shot, and I like it. I think it's cool. I like the storytelling aspect of it.
Cool, thanks.
I think the only thing that any critique that I would give is it would be just to fix the color.
I'm
That's a
colorblind,
completely aesthetic. That is a completely aesthetic thing to you.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm colorblind. I pick colors that look right to me. Sometimes I have to run them by my wife. I didn't run this one by her. Maybe I should have.
Oh, I didn't realize you're colorblind.
Yes, I am.
How do you do this?
That's why the colors are a little off. That's why Jared pointed out one time that my apples had too much magenta in them. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. I had no idea, Reed. See, we're learning stuff about each other tonight.
Yeah. And it didn't
Jared,
require bright lights or wrist ties or anything. So that's good.
Jared, just do the do an eyedropper change on just anywhere on that that white sign. I just want to see if it just Lightroom's pretty good at it.
It is. That would be, I usually try to find one of the highlights. Sometimes if you go mid-tone a little bit more, that's what it looks like. Now it looks like a little bit of a green hue to it in certain places.
It sort of went too far to the green. Yeah,
I agree.
That's easy enough to fix.
See, I don't see that. I don't see any green tint in that, but that's fine.
So Reed, did you have?
Look at the wood. Look at the wood. Like
the
you
wood
can
is
see,
where I see it.
Yeah, in the shadows and in the wood, and it's sometimes that green with the orange can work, but you have to have the shades just right for it to work. And it's nitpicky stuff. So I think the shot is like if you wanted to fix the color, it's very easy to do, and I think the shot is great.
So what you're saying is that the white eyedropper, and I use the eyedropper from time to time just to get an idea, but you're saying that will generally take it back to a natural color?
Typically,
Most
yeah,
of
it's
them.
gonna set whatever pixel you put it on to 50% gray or something neutral. So white, black, something you know should be gray. Use those things with that eyedropper tool.
Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, so that I just went back to the color you had originally. I like the lighting you've used where it's really highlighting the bread itself, and then the background being a little bit darker. There's details in there, but like you said, they're a little blurred, but it really brings out your subject to the front of the foreground of the image. So your attention is right here, which I really like it as well.
Yeah, that was the intent. I just used the background mask in Lightroom and kind of darkened it up and dropped the clarity a little bit on the background.
No, did a pretty good job of keep making sure that the subject was directly in front of the individual, so we know what to draw our attention to.
Did you eat the bread?
Did I what?
Eat the bread.
Oh, yeah, we bought bread for sure.
I'm just jealous you were in Ireland. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to go.
Oh, that was just the stepping stone. It was a family trip, and then from there we went over to Scandinavia and bounced around to 3 different Scandinavian countries. But I had a family thing. My brother-in-law's 70th birthday, so we went to Ireland to celebrate.
Very nice.
Nice.
All right. Does anybody have anything else for Reed?
Oh, is somebody supposed to be keeping time?
I am
Yeah,
right
I think
now.
it was supposed
I
to
got
be
it.
me and I spaced on it.
Oh, that's all right. I
Sorry.
got it, Amanda. What
Don't
are we,
worry, I got it
how
too.
long are we doing?
5 minutes, and we are actually got 5 seconds left. So
Cool. Well,
Oh,
thanks
who's
for the
doing
comments.
time?
Thanks for the
I had-
input.
Nice shot,
Okay.
Reed.
So I don't
I
have to
have-
do it, Jared?
well, if you'd like to start doing it now, that's great.
Okay, I'll start doing it now. Sorry.
Nope, no worries. I did the
I was
last one because none of
distracted.
us had said it out loud. So I
Yeah,
Okay.
took
and
it upon myself to do that last
I realized it about 2 minutes in, and I didn't want to interrupt Reed's critique, but I'm like, oh no, I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm fired.
one.
I got it.
Yeah, no one gets fired here. All right. Well, excellent
I
job,
have
Reed. Oh yeah, go ahead. Ben.
one thing to mention for Reed, as far as doing editing and dealing with color blindness, something that may be useful is to look into something called a false color, LUT. There may be an LUT is basically something that changes colors to other colors based on a mapping, and false color is usually used to apply like a color range based on brightness, exposure, things like that. There may be a way to find some false color LUTs that you could adapt that would help you with getting your colors and editing more accurate, because it would basically just be changing the colors into something you can perceive better, and then you just turn that off when you actually finalize it. So that's something you could look into.
Okay, thanks. I'll look into it. I wrote it down.
Excellent. Learn something new every day because I didn't know those things existed. So, all right. So next up, we have Alicia.
Ooh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
puppy.
What does everybody think of Alicia's photo?
I wouldn't put my hand down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's sharp right on the dog's eye,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
what
yeah.
you want. That's great.
Very nice. Good detail. I love the depth of field choice.
I kind of wish I could see the dog's paws a little bit more.
Yeah, I like back here a little bit.
Yeah, just go. It's not just like this, almost like a ghostly head just coming in.
I can see that. Have a little bit more of the dog.
But yeah, a vignette, and yeah, she did a great job.
I agree with the vignette. I think with if you add just a slight vignette, I think it's going to draw your eye. Wrong one. A little bit more. Take away from that. Oh. So with the vignette, it creates a nice little shadow around that. I think it actually brings your eye in right where you want it to.
Mhm.
Compositionally, I like where she's placed the dog's head. So you get this whole area right in here, so it's not always dead center, and there's a little bit of breathing room down here.
So I have to ask Amanda, was this a special occasion for baby?
Oh, for Alicia, is Alicia on?
Alicia's not on the call,
Oh,
is she?
no, that was Alicia. I'm sorry. I thought you said Amanda. I was gonna, it looks like it might be a special occasion treat. That's cute.
The
Bet some
dog
of them might
definitely
keep those.
enjoyed this photo shoot.
I mean, that's one way to make sure you get your dog's attention so you can capture the photo you want.
Yeah, I'm sure the dog enjoyed it, and I bet it wasn't a long photo shoot.
No,
No, no.
I think he knocked some little kid over and stole her cookies. That's what I think.
A whole pile of them. That's cute, Alicia. I like that. I know she's not on, but
She's not on, is she?
no.
I didn't see her, no. All right. All right, does anybody have anything else for Alicia?
Nice shot.
Yeah, good job.
Nice job, Alicia. All right, so oh, the order got messed up a little bit here. Looks like next up is Sean Pierce.
Ooh,
Oh,
Very, very easy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it when you break a routine with something like that.
That is cool.
That is really-
Would it take you longer to set the lights or actually line up all your gummy bears so they were like perfect?
Yeah, it's one light. So the light was on the whole time, so I could see the shadows. I had it on continuous light.
Oh,
And yeah,
okay.
it took forever. It took forever to get the gummy bears lined up. And then to choose which one should come out as red, like to
Yep.
be turned green. So
Did you change the color of that one or did?
no,
Or
I
they
literally
all-
put a green one in. Yeah,
Okay.
I went up to Marshall's and bought this giant bag of like individually packaged gummy bears because they were super cheap, and that was where the idea came from. So I sat there and opened all those little individual packages, picked out all the red ones. And it's just a piece of paper from Joann's.
Very nice.
That's really
Oh,
neat.
that's cool.
Did Olive help at all?
She's eaten quite a few of the bags. Yeah,
So
She's supposed to eat the
you're
gummy
saying-
bears, not the bags.
Are
that's true.
you saying
That's
it's
true.
just
That's a good
laying on a
point, Ben.
flat piece of paper? There's no texture to that?
What's that?
Are you saying it's laying on a flat piece of paper? It looks like there's depth and texture to the dark spots.
It's a
I think
textured
it's the
paper.
shadows.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a fine art textured paper. Just
Okay.
happens to be red.
Cool.
Yeah, very little processing here. Just a little contrast, bring up the saturation.
That
No,
is-
I like that a lot, Sean. It's really unique. It's got texture. It's got a lot of character.
Mhm.
And junk food
Yeah.
is food.
The slight tilt on the grid angle is nice as well. Looks good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
I could
Should
see
be.
you would have fun with that.
I think it's
No,
cool that green gummy bear creates a different shadow than all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's darker. The light
Yeah.
doesn't go through quite as well. Yep.
Sean, how did you decide where to put the green gummy?
So I was composing it in live view on the camera, so I could see where everything was, and then it's on a PowerPoint on a third line. So I just put it
Yeah.
in the upper right third line because that's the most, to me, that's the strongest compositional third. So
As you can see, when you put it up in this area right here, it's a very strong point of interest, compositionally. So putting it, I think other places, like if you stay anywhere on these lines, you've been there, but this is definitely I agree with Sean, the most powerful area to, place your subject.
and that angle acts like your eye comes in from the lower left, and at least mine does, and just follows the angle of the gummy bears up to that green one. Right? They almost act like a leaning line, and then just the texture and the shadows break it all up break up the leading lines. And yeah, I don't know. I had fun with it.
If I had to say one thing, Sean, I think the only section like right here, I would have put just one more gummy bear out of scene just so you could get that shadow here as
One
well.
last shadow. No, you're right.
One last shadow here.
Yeah, because if
Um,
it's not just there, it's all the way up. Because if you look at the top, there is
Yeah.
that last gummy bear in the shadow.
Yes.
So
you
there
get the
needs to
shadow
be two
here.
more. Yeah, no, you're right.
I think just if you did that, I think it's perfect. I really like it. There's lots of beautiful little highlights in there that are showing the depth in the picture as well. Because where you focus, paper's not focused, but every one of those gummy bears at that same height is right in focus and sharp and got that texture to it, which is really, really nice. Oh, very unique, Sean. I love it. I love
Yeah.
this.
Cool.
Very creative.
I feel like this could be used for one of those motivational posters, dare to be different or something.
Yes.
No,
I'm gonna
it's
make,
definitely.
I'm gonna
Arbinger's
make
gonna
that
take
now.
it. Arbinger's gonna take it.
I'm gonna make that now.
It's perfect for that.
Motivational Monday with Sean.
Now, you probably license this one on the stock site.
Probably.
Sure.
Potentially. Yeah, I mean they're generic enough where I couldn't even tell you the brand they are. So
I didn't even think they were bears.
well, the green one I specifically picked one that was all smushed like that, so you could actually see his face.
Yeah.
So like that one's all deformed and kind of on purpose.
Well, yeah, and it works because it's the only one I can see that has any sort of discernible facial features.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
5 minutes. Whoop.
All right. Anybody else? Anything else with Sean?
Good job.
Well
Nice
done,
job.
Sean. Very, very
Thanks,
good.
guys.
So let us see your motivational poster when you're done.
All right.
Seriously.
All right. So next up we have Amanda.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Ooh.
one of my favorite
Reno.
wines. Mm-hmm.
So I have also pretty much no experience with shooting pictures of food, and had really no ideas and too many ideas for what to do for this. So I asked my kids, hey, the photo challenge for this month is food. What do you think I should do? And both of them at the same time, without missing a beat, said grapes. And I just happened to also have strawberries and happen to have a yet unopened bottle of strawberry wine. And I went, perfect. So 10, 15 minutes, and this is what we got.
Cool.
Definitely not my best, but like everybody else, I've been right out straight. So that was about as much time as I had to dedicate to this month.
Yeah, love it.
Wow. I can
Yeah,
say
good
this.
job.
I think you did a really good job. I think compositionally you did a really nice with the stacked tier and everything spaced very nicely. I even like the fact that you have some of this you get some of the condensation on your glass and on the bottle. And that's typically this wine would have been chilled, correct? Probably. So that represents exactly how that should be, I think. What do you think, Sean?
No, I agree. I agree. I think how did you like this?
Just with I had my overhead lights on. I was in the small downstairs bedroom that I use as my craft room, photography room, everything room, and like a $7 or $8 LED desk lamp that I got from Walmart to backlight it, and that was about it. It was on a black piece of cloth with a black piece of poster board behind it, and obviously I sort of leveled it out as best I could in Lightroom. But yeah, definitely not studio lighting.
Well,
Nicely
no.
done.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not necessary, really. I don't know. Like this kind of a shot in like, in the commercial world would be done in multiple exposures. So like there would be a separate exposure for the label and a separate exposure for the top and a separate exposure that's all backlight coming through it to create a glow. So I think with one light and for what you were using, I think you did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I think it needs a little more light on the strawberries, and maybe even just like a simple paper reflector could have helped with that, depending on where your lighting is. But yeah, that's one thing that I would improve.
I like the
Yeah, and
coloring, because the wine and the grapes, it's almost like a triangle where you have the top of the wine in the bottle, then you have the wine in the glass, and you have the grapes on the bottom, and then you have the strawberries on the bottom, the strawberries on the label, and the red on top of the wine bottle, and it's like two triangles of color.
Mhm.
They just kind of balance nicely. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, that makes perfect
No,
sense. Yeah.
makes great sense. No,
it's just a really nice balance that doesn't look balanced. It just looks nice.
Yeah. Oh, compositionally, it's very strong.
I agree.
I almost would like to see like a background though, like instead of just all black, like shoot it in your kitchen and make sure it's completely, blown out and out of focus, and just tell more of a story with something like this. But this is the kind of approach you see them use for magazine ads too, where it's just black and it's very straight to the point. So, in the end, it would all kind of come down to usage and what you creatively were trying to do.
I definitely had the idea to, play around with some of the backgrounds in Photoshop and stuff and make it a little more interesting than this, but didn't really have a set idea of what I was going for. So I said, okay, well, just for the sake of argument, I'll go ahead and, make it all black because that's the easiest, and see what that looks like. And I definitely agree that it sort of looks like someone's, having a wine tasting party in the void, and it could definitely use something in the background. But I did also like how just the flat black kind of made it pop. Because there really only is the two different colors in this, and they're not overly vibrant. So I felt like the black sort of helped pull the subject in a little bit more. But I do agree with you.
One other thing I just look at is when you're photographing the bottle, I see like this text right here. I might just want to just see if I could reposition it and rotate it counterclockwise. So then this wouldn't be here, and then this would be more in the center, because like you can see from where it ends in the label here and to the side and over here aren't equally spaced. I think that would actually help, because this could be a little bit of a distraction, I think, on the label itself.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll confess that I didn't even realize that text on the side was visible until you just pointed it out. So
And I was just one thing I just started when I looked at it, I wonder if it would rotate. But maybe it's not, because maybe you have the text on this side too. Again, it's something you could just finagle, and those are like, again, nitpicky little details. But overall, I think you did a really good job with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm wondering if you could soften the light on the glass. I think it's harsh. It's like the first place my eye goes to.
What were you thinking? Like
that big specular highlight right there.
Right here?
Top. The
Right
one
at the
right
top.
Yeah,
Oh, this one right
that
here.
one. Yeah.
That honestly, you probably could take that out in Photoshop fairly easily, to be honest. Like just with the remove tool, probably just take it right out. It might even do it right here. Yeah, you'd have to mess around with it some, but
I mean, so it's a quick edit that actually did a pretty good job. Like Sean was saying, I think if you use Photoshop, it would be a little bit more accurate, because you could pull stuff from like here and then bring it over.
bring up
And
the
then,
exposure just a little bit. Because one of the things that if you're going to shoot on all black like this, and it doesn't matter your subject, it's going to, in your mind, while you're staring at it for however long, it's always going to seem brighter than it actually is, because it's on that black background. So, I mean, it's going to seem darker, but you want to make sure that it's really popping off of that black. So use your histogram when you're editing. So if you're having trouble figuring out is it too bright, is it not too bright, use the histogram, because you can, like, these highlights should be pulled over kind of where they are now. So those red
Mhm.
highlights so that they pop. And before they were further down into like this lighter gray area, which is, yeah, so they were just bringing it up, you know, not even a whole stop makes a huge difference in the way, you know, now it just really pops and sort of,
Yeah, push up the
Oh,
shadows just a little bit.
I
yeah,
would,
you can
I,
push the
I think
shadows up. I might even bring them down.
I'd bring them down a little bit because then that way you get your color back in the wine. Because I think
Yeah.
when you brought the exposure up, it kind of made it very transparent. So if I brought the shadows down a little bit, it's going to create a little bit of depth and contrast there too. And I wouldn't do much, a little bit. But
But yeah, so when you're shooting on black like this, really watch your histogram and make sure that your highlight, you don't want to clip anything, of course, but make sure your highlights are actually getting up into the highlight area. Because it's hard to tell while you're editing. Your eyes get used to that darkness. And so it's always going to look darker to everybody else because we haven't been staring at it for, you know, 40 minutes or an hour or however long it took, you know.
right.
So that's just a hot tip.
Yep. This is where you want to get your highlights. You want to be living in here, right in
Yep.
this area of the histogram. All right.
So
Does
yeah,
anybody have?
just trust your histogram is what I'm saying, because it knows better than you sometimes.
Amanda, this is Chris. Do you recommend the wine? It looks
I
delicious.
do. I do.
It's good.
I'm actually not really a wine enthusiast, but I will say that I sort of bought this one on a whim because I went, oh, I like strawberry. I'll give this a try. It wasn't super expensive and was chilling out in my fridge for a couple of months. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it once I was done with my photo shoot and went back upstairs. So I do recommend if you can find it.
Excellent. All right. Does anybody have anything else for Amanda?
Yeah, great job, Amanda.
Yeah,
Great job,
like it.
Amanda. All right. So next up we have Danielle Mackey. What does everybody think?
Wow.
I know
I
it's a
like the
citrus.
idea.
It's
like
a
the idea
blood
too.
orange. What it looks like.
That is a really cool shot. It's slightly disturbing and I love it.
Orange and blue contrast is nice.
Yes, I like the colors.
She must have had a light behind that with a slice and put a light behind it.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, because the edges are a little bit darker.
Yeah, where the light doesn't pass through so easily. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the blue was added in post. Is Danielle on?
I don't think she's on tonight. Nope.
No.
I think the blue was added on in post, and I think if you were going to use a blue, I might go less cyan and a little bit more deeper blue, personally.
Yeah, and I
Not
think you
like
gotta be real
much.
careful about your edges here.
Yeah, like right here.
Well, down at the bottom, you're really starting to pick up what must have been a white background before.
Mm-hmm.
So
And with these macro shots, I try to see if I can get rid of some of these little specular things inside here, down there, and try to blend them in a little bit. And then like try to clean up this little edge over here where you see this little marks. Because when you're really focused on a specific thing and you move in a lot, I start to see these little issues. I don't mind these curves and stuff that come into it, but like just these little added pieces.
no, I think it's really cool though. Like
I think
I
it's
could
interesting
stare at it
concept.
for a while.
It almost looks like a nebula too, for like, because I know you're a big astrophotographer. It kind of has that like, nebula kind of feel to it.
Yep.
It's the birthplace of stars.
Yes.
A humble orange.
Birthplace of
Aha.
screwdrivers, maybe.
Need a little vodka will be all set.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Heck yeah. Very cool concept.
Yep. Unique.
Is the resolution a little bit low on this?
Let's take a quick look. It is 5400 by 36, so it's pretty
That's
good
high
resolution.
resolution. Yeah,
But-
I'm wondering if like maybe she didn't use an actual macro lens.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that when you do this kind of work is you really want it to be sharp, like really, really sharp.
Yeah. And sometimes you can get that if you just step back a little bit, you just have to crop more and you'll lose some of your resolution. But even like with Lightroom nowadays, they have that super resolution, so you can bring back some of that detail if you wanted to make it larger. And it does a pretty decent job of upscaling.
Yeah, upscaling might be an option for this. Whether it's through Lightroom or like Topaz, that's a good one too.
Topaz is a great one to do that with as well. Yep.
I guess I
I
struggle
definitely
with
love the
blue.
idea though. I think that's so cool.
Go ahead, Reed.
I was just saying I struggle with the blue. I don't.
Let's see if we can do something with this here. Oop, I hit the wrong button. I have to shift it over every time because people are over there. So you could select the background, see if it does that. So it selects the background, and then you could come into here and you could play with the hues and adjustments. Oh, it's selecting up here too, but
So just so for just another hot tip, if anytime you want to do something like this, I think it's fun to do this kind of stuff. But if you Google Adobe Color Wheel, you can actually put in the actual like codes for the colors, and it will give you complementary or color triads, or be able to help you like color grade to make sure that whatever color you're putting here is actually complementary to the color that is dominant.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you guys were aware of the color wheel. That's free to anybody who wants to use it. It's just Adobe Color Wheel in Google. It's actually kind of fun to play around with if you like color.
yeah, I like the bluish tones personally better. But again, it would be up to the preference of that. But like John was saying, if you use the color wheel, it's going to give you a pretty good band of where you could actually, what color would work well with it. And especially if you're going to be doing stuff like this and you're going to use a lot of negative space, make sure you have cleaned your center. I can see a center spot up in here too, or a dust on the center. So
Well, if that's the
that way it
case,
doesn't
then
Mhm.
maybe she didn't add that after the fact. If there's sensor
Yep.
dust.
There's a sensor dust mark right there. Oh God, I zoomed in way too far.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on your monitor.
Could be. I think it's going to, yeah, it's going way too far. Yeah, there's a little bit of here. I think if we pulled up the dehaze, you can start to see it.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I always use the dehaze or the clarity somewhere in that range. I just boost it all up and I can see these dust spots pretty quickly. Especially if you're using it for a very subtle like blank background specific color. So
That was 5 minutes.
any last comments for Danielle?
Interesting.
Yeah, great job, Danielle. Yeah, really cool idea.
Very cool. All right. So next up we got Deb Belanger. Now that looks gorgeous.
Ooh,
Ooh.
it's a
It's
crab
everybody's favorite.
graveyard.
We drove 3 miles for 3 hours for a lobster roll that day.
Wow.
It was intentional. We made some stops along the way, but so yeah, that was our dinner. And if you look closely in front of the boat, you can just barely see the osprey we were watching as we ate our dinner. But like I said, it's
On the
been,
pole.
yeah, yeah. So that was dinner. I thought, you know what? I at least took something, but honestly, like everybody else, I've just been literally out straight.
I know the
I thought,
feeling.
guess what? It's gonna work, and if it doesn't, oh well. It's the best I could do for this one.
As long as the lobster was good, it was worth it.
Oh my God. And their prices, believe it or not, it's in Rockport. It's called Claws. They have the best. And it was all pure meat.
It
Tails.
looks it.
Yeah. No, it was I think it was 8 ounces of pure meat. Yeah. And of course you can't have lobster without a glass of wine in a plastic cup, no less.
Deb,
No, that's a
Not the
Deb,
cup
was
of
that
wine.
Rockport or Rockland?
Rockland.
Rockland, okay.
To the left of it is the lighthouse,
Oh, okay.
the Breakwater Lighthouse.
Yeah,
That
did
is
you
an
walk out on the
home tour.
Breakwater Lighthouse?
We did not, because we had spent a big chunk of time in Friendship Harbor where I did a lot of photography out there. So
Yeah, because that walk out to that lighthouse is pretty, I love it.
oh, we've done it many times before, but the other thought that I had too is we also stopped at Moody's on the way up and grabbed some whoopie pies. So we had a
Okay.
whoopie pie out at the lighthouse on a picnic table, and we could see but I chose the lobster instead for the shot. But anyway, that's what I got.
Cool.
Very, very cool. And I just keep looking at that lobster roll. I don't think I've ever seen like those big of chunks in a lobster roll in my life. So that's on the bucket list now for me.
Oh, I'm telling you, highly, highly, highly recommended. Very light Hellman's mayonnaise. I mean, very light. And you can buy different sizes, and her prices are reasonable for what you get. Very reasonable. You can't touch a lobster roll around here for what we pay for that.
The background in this is so complimentary too. It just, everything just fits nicely.
Yeah.
It's Maine.
It was just a little bar that we sat up. We happened to grab 2 seats there, and I thought, oh my God, dinner with a view and an osprey.
Yeah, I've had seagulls dive on me while I was eating. I don't think I'd like it if an osprey was diving on me while I was eating.
It's a covered, it's a covered area. So I don't know. We've been going there for years. I've never seen any seagulls around.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's
Oh.
my food.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very,
Yep.
very nice.
Very Maine.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
I should have brought the pickle out a little bit more anyway, if nothing else.
I might have just brought a little bit more of the front end of the your platter or your basket here. Maybe just had that come out a little bit more so it didn't seem so crowded down here around the pickle. Give a little bit more breathing room down here. And then get rid of the sky. I like the boats in the background as a nice main accent for it. But a little bit more of the foreground I think might have helped this a little bit.
Yeah, taking like a step back if you could. With just sort of taking care of like the distortion there is in the cup and stuff. So
Yeah.
had you been able to, I'm not sure in your situation you could have, but even with the phone, if you took a step back instead of being right on top of it,
Yep.
you could have extended your focal length a little bit or whatever the phone is doing in there, and it wouldn't be quite so distorted, and you'd still have the same story and the same general idea.
What do you
Well,
think
we are
about
heading back
lightly?
next week.
There you go. I hope you get this pour again because someone likes you. That's a lot of wine.
It was a 16-ounce pour.
Holy smokes.
16 ounces of wine. Holy shit.
We didn't travel 3 hours for nothing, and I was not
No,
driving.
not.
Didn't travel for 3 hours afterwards either.
Yeah.
I wasn't driving.
What do you think about lightly or darkening the background just a little bit to draw more attention to the foreground?
I could see that.
Great
Even
idea.
just a gradient fill. There's a yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, leave the wine, the table, the food and everything in focus and forward, but kind of darken the background just a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
I think that was global, I think, and I think that actually helped the whole thing a little bit.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
can
because it was a little bit light. Yeah.
So it didn't do too much to this, but it is pulling some of the bass. You could fine tune it, but then you could just go you could create another, like with Lightroom, you could say select the subject. I know select, well,
Yeah.
it's selecting other things too, but it was like that. And then you could even boost up just the exposure a little bit on the lobster roll a little bit, not too much.
Add some contrast in there.
You know, add a little, thank you. Yeah, I like that idea. A little
There you go.
contrast.
Sharpen it a bit.
Yep. The contrast will help that.
Contrast brought that up. I don't.
Add a little
Context-
bit of do like just a touch of dehaze. That's slowly becoming my favorite contrast.
Uh,
Oh, you're in the mask, so go down a
there
bit.
it is. There it is.
I use dehaze a lot.
Yeah.
This is a
I
really nice job.
Yeah, on
You can
skies.
easily
gotta be
go
really
over
careful with
skies.
it, but man, it does a good job.
Yeah,
So this
It's better
is
than clarity. I
before,
use it more often than
after.
clarity.
yeah, that's better.
Boom. Before and after.
Oh, definitely. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Definitely, definitely.
That was 5, but we're still talking, so.
No.
It separated the water from the sky too. Like
Yeah,
the water and the sky were almost the same color, and now it's
Nope. And that's one of the nice things about Lightroom is you can play with a lot of the different tools. And if you don't like something, just go back to where you were beforehand. Same with Photoshop too. So always play with it, see what you can do. And Deb, I want to say it was an excellent photo. I like it.
Yeah. Nice job, Deb.
yep.
Thank you.
Deb, you'll have to send me the name of it because that's something Eric would love.
Oh
Not
my
me,
God.
I don't do lobster, but
I only do it once a year and that's our trip up.
yeah, send me the name of it. Please.
All right. All right. So next up, we got Ben Kramer.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh. What does everybody think?
I like it. Is that chicken on a
I
stick?
know, that's what I was just gonna
It's
say.
like
Is that a piece of
steak.
chicken?
Looks like
Oh,
steak.
yes.
Yep, just a little bit of steak.
Storytelling, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I would love just a little bit of light on the steak.
I agree. Let's see if we can do that. What's the do for subject? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lot. Just that way you're not going, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
Quarter stop or so, maybe a little white.
add a little bit of detail to it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe bring this up a little bit more, like
Push the
Yeah,
flavor
then
bar just a little bit.
push the flavor bar.
Lightroom does everything else. I mean,
Add a
Those
little more
orange
char
things
to
at the
that.
back
you
are
know.
the flavor bars.
That's just with a little bit, and obviously it's a quick little fix, but bringing
Yeah.
out the steak just a little bit.
well, that's much
Yeah.
nicer.
I already did a lot of tweaking to reduce the background without hitting the foreground too much. And I actually have some additional light on the front of the steak.
Mhm.
Just because all the other shots it was too dark.
That's a cool shot right there.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
I
I
like
love
that.
those flames.
I was gonna say I love the flames in the background, and they're handled really nicely.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's hard to just dumb down or dull down or like darken the background when you have a fire, considering that's
Yeah.
extremely bright. So they did a really good job controlling that and not starting to create too much any pixelation around the flames themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
only way to do this and not have to, work on it in post would be to actually have a light with you. So light, when you're shooting, exposed for the fire and, whatever. But
Oh, and I did. Yeah, I actually had I brought out a tripod because I thought I
Oh,
might
really?
need to use that, and I used a little magic arm and one of those little LED cubes that I have. I think it had a red filter on it or something, but yeah, I stuck that on there and had a little bit of light hitting the foreground of the steak.
Mm.
I like the composition that you used too. Kept it on that lower third, and then like the fire in the background goes up through the image too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Makes me
I
feel
wanted
like I'm
to do
sitting in
a-
a camp chair.
I wanted to do a photo of like a freshly baked loaf of bread, like with steam coming off of it and everything, but I never got around to making it happen.
That would have been cool.
There's nothing ambitious about that.
Yeah, no, nothing at all.
I mean, I wasn't gonna make the bread.
Let's go to the
Oh.
bakery down the street.
We gotta microwave it. And then you get the steam coming off.
I've got a
Pulls out a
loving
bag of
spouse
Wonder
with
Bread.
talents for that kind of stuff.
Pulls a bag of Wonder Bread out of the microwave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to do the meat on a stick, because go back to the most basic of food. It's either something you pull out of the ground or something you're cooking over a fire.
Yeah, squirrel on a stick. Yum, yum.
Oh, Ed.
Yeah, there he is. Very cool.
Nothing's
Is it-
ever wrong with meat on a stick. So
Nope. I mean, it's a
I don't know, it
tried and
depends on the
true
kind
kind
of
of
meat.
meal.
I suppose it does depend on the kind of, like, human meat wouldn't be great.
Well, we
Something's
don't know
gone
that.
terribly wrong in that situation, but
That depends on
I'm
who you
assuming this
ask.
is like ostrich, so that's okay.
And
Yeah.
Elector liked it, Just
Yeah.
saying.
Possum, the other white meat, not just for breakfast anymore.
Next thing you know, we'll see Reed on the side of the road pick up roadkill. I wonder what this one tastes like.
All right, so that's like 30 seconds away from time since we're getting off track.
We're not off track.
We're
No.
right where we're supposed to be, Lisa. You know that.
It's meat on a
Lisa?
stick.
We're making Lisa nervous about the potluck for the winter show.
Yeah, I know, huh?
She should be.
So
Lisa,
I'll
thank you for
I've
saving
been watching a
us.
lot of Jeffrey Dahmer documentaries, so
Oh,
So meat
God.
on a stick's gonna be the theme, huh? I got it.
No, no, no.
So
I've-
on topic, I will say
I'll bring
I
tofu to save everyone else.
Okay, that is the timer.
All
So
right,
on-
go ahead, Ben. Last thing.
Go ahead.
on topic, I edit this with Darktable, so it's completely different piece of software. All the controls are different and everything. And something I do need to work on is the masking, because if you get in close, there's a bit of feathering around the edge where I was messing with the masking boundary.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can tell in some spots, but in other spots it's like there actually was glow in most of that spot. So
You talking like right here?
yeah, there. If you were to get in close, you could probably spot some of the other spots, but it's
I could see that though, being as it's cooking, the steam coming off, so you could probably get away with that a little bit too. As
Yeah.
it's getting hot and it's releasing the steam. So I can see I getting away with that.
and that's just I need practice with the tools kind of thing.
Well, very cool, Ben. Thank you for participating.
Thank you.
yeah, nice
Alright.
job, Ben. Definitely a fun
Um,
image.
Oh yeah. Next up is my photo.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh,
Very
wow.
Oh,
nice.
I saw that posted. That's beautiful.
Yeah, nice. Where was it?
This is over off of Pickering Road, one of the cornfields.
I love Pickering Road. There's a lot of pretty fields out there.
So I'm not a still life photographer and I don't like photographing my food. So I went out and did it before it was picked and harvested.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a perfect workaround.
There's this beautiful layering going on in here. Just in
Mm.
the tonal values are just layered so beautifully.
Thank you. It's actually
Eric, can you
3
zoom
different
in?
images. Yes. Oh, no, this is the low res. I can't zoom in on this one. I could zoom in on my computer if you wanted to.
What did you say? It was multiple images?
Yeah, so it's 3 images that I did was I layered them. So I did one for the foreground for these ones in this group, and then I did one for these cornfields on the hill because as it dropped down, came back up, and then I did one where I focused on the tree for the background and the sky.
So
Oh,
they're just focus stack from there.
And I focus stacked using Photoshop, and then from there, I just did a slight blending. There was a couple of difficult spots over here. Let me pull up just the other resolution one. H. I think it's this one. You zoom in. So I did it so that way you could get all the detail in the leaves, and then in the background with these ones as well, and then the tree. The tree was challenging just because of the where the light direction was coming from. There was some really deep shadows in there.
That's really neat. Will and I were talking about photo stacking because I was a little bit frustrated with my camera. And I think this is something that I was missing, like doing that, you know, stacking the photos, because I was trying to get so many things in focus and I couldn't, you know?
The one reason I like to do the photo stack is because you can, when you shoot at like f/22, you inherently get like a softer image, just because the amount of light trying to pass through the smaller opening will not, it won't give you as much of the detail. So I try to shoot somewhere between f/8 and f/14, and then I will try to stack them. But sometimes it's challenging to do that when you have a lot of these other things that pop up that it would register as unfocused with this image when you're layering. So it takes a little time, but if you get it right, it does, I think, give you better resolution across the entire image.
Yeah.
Typical landscape photographer doesn't like to actually photograph using lights or anything like that. So he went out to the field.
That's beautiful.
It is. I love the detail and the depth. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Gorgeous, very nice.
Does anybody have anything else?
Looks great.
Thank you. So next up, we have Lisa Shirtliff. Now that looks delicious.
It looks delicious.
This is, I just threw something in because I had to have something. This was from my visit out on Mohegan Island.
Oh, cool.
There's a guest house out there called the Cracked Mug, and the woman who runs it also has a kitchen that she bakes in all day long. And every night from 5 to 8, she opens up her kitchen to come in and buy desserts, and it's called Night Fatties. And you walk in the door of her house and in her kitchen, and her counter is just lined with desserts that she's baked during the day. You never know what you're going to get. Every day it's something different. And so I visited this every night that I was there because I could.
Because of course you did. Why wouldn't you?
I know, exactly. And said she's got a board out front that tells you what she has baked for the day. And you just go in there and you buy it by the slice. And it absolutely incredible. And I said, it's right in her house, and it is open every night from 5 to 8. Night Fatties. So after you get done eating your meal, you go there, and I every night I met different people there and talked to different people. And so I tried to get a better picture, but there was a line out the door and people were getting I just grabbed it, and that was the end of that. So that's my picture. And I did eat all 3 of those desserts all by myself.
I was gonna say
you.
You're keeping it dangerous too, because you got that plate so close to the edge of the table. It's like, don't drop that. Don't waste the treats.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, the one of them was a chocolate cake. It had bacon on it, and the other one was some sort of a spice. Yeah, so the one up in the corner was a chocolate cake with a cream cheese glaze and bacon. And this, I think one in the front was lemon, and then the other one had maple frosting and pecan walnuts. Oh my God. It was so good. And every night was different.
Is there
And
anything
I couldn't tell you what the desserts cost because I did not pay attention to what I was spending. They looked so good.
Is there anything like Narcan for a sugar overdose?
Yeah. No, see, this went right along with my the brewery on the island. So you have beer and desserts.
There you go.
It doesn't get any better than that, really.
So
So this
Jared,
is,
try and crop it in from the left.
Okay.
Just get rid of some of that negative space there. I wouldn't worry so much about ratio.
Nope, it's lost. I gotta fix that. All right.
so, okay, crop it in there, yeah, okay. But you could do it more as a square crop too, huh?
Probably could.
Yeah. A 1-to-1. I tried to
Yep.
get rid of the blue knife down in the corner. I thought that kind of, the knife end, and I couldn't make it go away.
I mean, you
tried.
could vignette it. That would make
You
it
could
less
vignette it.
noticeable.
Yeah, it does
yeah.
have a slight vignette on it, but not much.
So
But I
a
did
couple
try to
things
get it to go away and it just wouldn't, I couldn't get it to go away good.
You know what's really interesting? I don't know if you guys have
No.
played with Photoshop beta yet with the generative fill.
Mhm. I have not.
If you just erase that knife, like just erase it, and then select the white area where you now have an erase spot, you go to the generative fill, but you don't fill out any words. You just click generative fill and it will automatically give you 3 options to fill in that space using the surrounding space. It usually works perfectly to get rid of objects.
I don't use Photoshop, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
I
generative
one
fill
of these
is- it's
days I'll
pretty
learn how
cool.
to use it.
It's pretty cool. You just got to be careful right now because the resolution of it is really low.
Oh, yeah.
It can only go to 1024 pixels. And something that comes, I mean, on a cell phone photo is probably fine, but like if you're using a full frame camera where you're at, it's 6,400 pixels on the long end, you're gonna have to size it way down for generative fill to not warp things and look a little bit funny.
Oh, that's
How many
a good.
how many
that's a good-
megapixels is that?
Megapixels.
Megapixels. I don't know, but they're
Okay.
sour and dill and they're delicious.
You're on the food thing,
I'm
Ben.
still thinking about that
Um,
lobster roll with a pickle underneath it.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
Uh,
The other thing I like about this is that it's backlit. Food photography very often looks best when it's backlit, because if you think about how you usually see food, you're sitting in front of it, so you would be blocking the light.
So
Almost
this
all
was
food
just,
you
this
naturally
was
see
just
is
the
backlit.
natural light coming through the windows in her kitchen.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
it
may
worked
be a
out great.
complete accident, it may be done on purpose, but the backlighting is what helps this photo.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Nice.
Nope, I did not do that on purpose, but I
And
said
then-
I was just in a hurry to take it because it said the line was out the door and
Yeah,
people wanted in.
but compositionally you did well too, by having things in the corners. My eye never is able to
Yeah.
leave the frame.
Yeah,
So
100%.
it wanders and goes, oh, what's over here? But then it comes right back because it's out of focus, but it's not empty space. And then
Yeah.
the line where you have like going under the plate acts the same way. That's why I wanted to get rid of the negative space, because that line is your eye is gonna see it and bounce back in.
Yeah,
Agreed.
okay.
And then you dissected it very well with the plate.
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks.
Compositionally, you did quite well.
Well, look at that, not bad for not wanting to take a picture, huh? I just absolutely love, this was one of the places when I went out to Mohegan Island, I mean, I was so looking forward to going out there anyways. But this was one of the things that I was looking forward to, is hitting this place every single night for dessert that I was out there. It's just kind of a unique idea, just to open up your kitchen to whatever you bake that day.
Yeah.
And have people come in and try whatever, I mean, I would love to do something like that. That's just, so part of my experience at Mohegan Island, and something that's gonna draw me back. I probably will go back there forever, every year. Very cool
Yeah, I
place.
mean, if you ever get a chance to do something like this again, I mean, it could use a reflector in the front just to get a little more light in those shadows, but yeah, I think you did
One
very
other
well.
thing you can do with that knife to make it less noticeable is like a hue color change on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I said I did try, just because I kept going towards that knife and I didn't like the handle of it, but.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you done playing? Oh, you're gonna play with it, Jared? Because I was gonna say I'm over 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, yeah, you could do stuff like what he was just saying. You could change the
Yeah.
hue of it, would make it less noticeable.
Yeah. I just thought it stuck out like a sore thumb. Thought it was
I
very
mean, I didn't
bright.
really notice it so much
I mean,
until you
yeah,
pointed
until you
it
said
out.
something, I didn't even see it there.
Yeah.
I didn't either. It,
So, and
my
it's
focus was
complicated
not on the
color
knife.
to all the yellows and warmth all around it. it's complementary in
Yeah.
color, so it's really not a problem. I wouldn't even worry about
Oh,
it.
okay. But
Agreed.
yeah, I highly recommend if you ever do get out to Mohegan Island, go to this place. Highly recommend.
Pat, did you
All
have
right.
something?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
You're
nice job,
welcome.
Lisa.
All right.
Thank you.
And our final photo of the night is from Monique.
Ooh.
Ooh, a
Very
green
nice.
I
tomato.
think it's a green tomato.
Fried
Yep.
green tomatoes.
And is there water on, there's dew all over it, Monique?
Yes,
Nice.
this was
Detail. Nice.
super early in the season because I lost all of my tomato plants
Why?
and I got blight.
Oh,
Oh no.
There was
Yeah,
too much water, too much rain this year anyways. Nobody's tomatoes really produce.
They'll
right.
split or
30
didn't-
plants, which was a lot.
Oh geez.
But I had a couple pictures, so I developed it today and sent it in.
nice.
Very shallow depth of the field.
Shot
Do
with
you
a true
use
macro.
for that?
Yes, macro. Handheld.
You can definitely see all the detail in the stem part of it and the
It's got a really cool abstract look.
I worked really hard to try and bring down that light in the kind of top sort of center left, but
Right here.
couldn't get it as dark as I would like. I felt it like it was a little distracting.
I think you managed it pretty well with it being one of the brighter spots.
Yeah,
Did you
in Photoshop,
use a light on this? Yes.
Nope.
No.
Looks like natural light. Looks like your light direction's coming from here based on the speculars on the water droplets. So
Yeah, this was natural light.
Monique, do you use Photoshop at all?
Only a little bit. I'm just starting.
So one thing you can do is you can, on just a blank layer, you know how to make just a blank layer, right?
Yep.
So you can sample these darker colors in the background.
Yep.
And then paint over the brighter part, but set your paintbrush to the darken blend mode.
Okay.
And so what it will do is now you gotta be careful around the tomato itself.
there
But
you
what
go.
it'll do is any pixels that are brighter than the selected color, it will darken them down to that color. So you can blend in that background brightness. You can just sort of blend it into the other colors that are around it.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
So
works
like I said,
really
be
well.
careful because it'll affect the tomato too.
Right.
Just be careful around all those greens and stuff. But yeah, it's actually a pretty easy fix in Photoshop if you just play
Thank
around
you.
with it a bit. Yep. Just make sure that the opacity and stuff on your brush is not set at 100. Set it to like 40% on opacity and like 60% in the fill,
Okay.
which will allow you to slowly blend it in a bit, as opposed to just like just hitting it with this brush that's just like just all of it at once kind of thing, you know?
Yep.
Yep.
So
Little finesse.
yeah.
It's got a very cool abstract look too. It's like you know what it is, but it's got a lot of different feels to it.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, it could probably be cropped out. Like you could just crop it right in from the top and right in from the right a bit. And just bring all the attention to the sharpness, like on that stem and on the dew. Yeah, something like that.
I also wanted to try. No, I was wondering if it would look the other direction.
Yeah, your eye sort of follows the stem right out.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably
How
crop
do
it
you
in
feel
more,
about the
I
yellow
think.
streak?
Doesn't bother me so much.
Okay.
Let's unlock this. Look this up.
Yeah,
you
I
can
find
put
with
the
macro,
crop.
like the more you just bring the attention right to what it is you're trying to show people, the better with macro, you know? A lot of times you don't need all that extra negative space.
It's a great point. You're right, because that's the point, right? I want them to look at how tight the details are. So why am I
Mhm.
giving them all this other stuff they don't need to see?
Yeah, now you really see all the details at the base of the stem.
Mm.
Like
Oh,
the way
yeah.
that the way the dew is like sticking to the little hairs and stuff in there. It almost looks like a fountain. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very neat.
Yep.
The positioning
love
of that
macro.
stem, Monique, was really, that was good too, because you sort of just come right in on that stem and it takes you right to the really interesting stuff.
And the
Agreed.
original is not much bigger than what you're seeing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, 1-to-1 true macros are, I love them. Such
it's
cool
amazing.
lenses.
Amazing.
Oh. Does anybody have anything else for Monique? All right, excellent job, Monique.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful.
And that is all of our photos. I don't miss anybody. Did I miss anybody on the call that submitted one that's hiding somewhere in the email? I've seen to do that once every single time we do this, so I'm gonna stop sharing. But excellent job. Thank you everybody for participating who did. That was great. I like how we all interpreted that slightly different and used different little plays on how to interpret food. So excellent.
Did we announce our next challenge?
And
Yeah,
that was
do
what
we
I was
have
about to
one?
do. Yep.
We do.
So next month is,
yep.
yeah, go ahead, Monique. I'll let you do it.
It's not food on a stick?
So
It is
next
not
month
food
is
on a
not,
Oh.
it's not really a challenge because you don't have to have shot it this month. But the challenge is to bring what you're hoping to put in the show for transportation so that
Correct.
we can give you feedback on it. But we want you to know that it's not limited to something that you take this month. It's any photograph that you've ever taken that has to do with transportation that you want to put in the show and get critique on.
Yep. So it's for the fall, it's for the winter show. It's going to give everybody an opportunity. So when we plug it in, we do the critique next month. It'll give you an opportunity to listen to everyone's feedback, so you can incorporate those changes if you desire to make them. So that way it's ready to go for the winter show. So transportation.
So
is
we
next
don't
month.
really have a challenge.
However, the challenge for November is cemetery. So if you start shooting now, you could get a jump start on that theme so that you could present it in November and having had the extra time to shoot. So that also will go out.
Yes, we wanted to give a little extra time with that one just because there's October is a great time to photograph though for cemeteries, get that eerie, cool feeling before stick season. So to give everyone a little bit more opportunity.
If
Everybody's gonna be running out
anybody,
the door the first morning there's fog.
So
if
when is the drop off for
anybody-
transportation?
When are we dropping off?
Yeah, when do we drop the submittals off for transportation?
So the images won't be dropped off until the first week of December, and then the first Sunday of December it will be the opening reception. That's typically the same day that they do the parade. So it's usually like the Thursday before.
Okay.
So my guess is it's going to be November 30th will be drop off, and our show will be the 3rd.
Yes, that is what we're expecting. I should have just coordinate with Jen and make sure we can. That's good with them, and then we'll hang it that night, and then it'll be ready for everyone. So we come in on that Sunday.
I am debating, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet, and if anybody's interested, heading down to Cambridge, Mass, to Mount Auburn Cemetery in the fall. If anybody would like to tag along.
That's a wonderful cemetery.
Lisa.
Huh?
Let me know when you're going.
I will let you know. It's an absolutely beautiful cemetery. It's one of the largest. It's one of the largest botanical cemeteries in the United States.
It's awesome. I
It
just
is
went there
over
last year with a
100.
friend. It was cool.
Yeah, I went 2 years ago in the spring in May, and it's a beautiful cemetery. I believe it's about 100 acres, and I believe it is the largest botanical cemetery in the United States.
I think it's one of the first that went away from just plant them to make it decorative.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
There's a ton of history, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm thinking I may head down. It would probably be on a weekend, only because I have to work during the week.
Please let me know too. I
Who's that,
would
Pat?
like to-
Okay,
yeah.
I will.
Okay.
Thinking about it. There's actually a couple of them in Boston. There's Mount Feek, which is another cemetery down there. And there's one other that I've heard of that's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous. And I just figured the fall would be a nice time to go walk. So I'll put it, let me think about it, and I'll put it out there. See,
You gotta
see
wait
if there's-
till
see
we
if
get
there's
some
any
fall
takers.
color first.
Yeah.
Seems to be,
And then, you know, we could just do a side trip into Boston, maybe to hang out a few places in Boston. Too. Take some pictures, but I'll let you know.
Thank you,
Good
Lisa.
cemeteries in
You're
Boston
welcome.
too.
Huh?
Oh yeah,
Good cemeteries in Boston too.
Yeah.
Really good
that's a
ones.
good one.
Yeah, they said there's a
There's a
Go ahead,
couple
They
of
they got
couple
all the
of
best dead people.
yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of Constitution signers are buried in Boston. Sam Adams.
Okay.
wonder if Sammy will be holding a beer in the cemetery at night.
now that's an image you want.
Now, if you could get someone to dress up as Sam Adams,
Right?
yeah.
maybe disrespectful, but could make a good photo.
True.
He's been dead a
On
long time.
Halloween, scare the
Oh, look at-
locals.
He's
Not a
so upset.
hashtag too soon.
Wait, you just won the
Yeah.
prize for dressing up as Sammy.
He's been dead since what, like 1780 or something. I mean, come on.
And we could drink Oktoberfest while we're walking around the cemeteries.
Yeah, you just
Sean,
like
it's still too soon.
you just like
Still
pour
too soon.
pour out the bus, just pouring around out for the homie, you know,
Yeah.
just like dumping a beer over.
Okay.
That's silly.
Off subject again.
All right. So does anybody have anything else for the group tonight?
No, I don't
Sure.
think so.
All right. So just a reminder, our next meeting is going to be on October 11th over at RPAC. It's going to be the roundtable event. So please bring all your questions and come over and let's share all of our stories with our members. So it'll be really great to see everybody, and let's try to get a packed house so we can have a really good conversation with each other.
Yeah,
Um,
it would be nice
yeah.
to get to know some people.
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
Lisa, I'll be in
exactly.
touch with you to work on that.
Okay, very good, Monique.
All right.
Monique,
All right.
Monique,
All
I'll
right,
be
well-
in touch with you so I can drop that stuff off because we'll be hopefully walking in Acadia if the government doesn't shut down.
Sounds good.
All
Look, it
right,
doesn't
night.
have- They pay me.
All right.
All right, guys. You all have a great rest of the night and take care.
You
Good night.